Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing okay. So yes, last night turned up pretty much an hour early for my course. Sat in a freezing cold car park with my engine running, and so at least I wasn't tardy, which, you know, great first impressions. Even still, I sat in the car so long that when I walked into the classroom, there were only 3 people left to come. So I was just like, I turned up an hour early and I still was pretty much near enough one of the last people to get in there. But the class on the whole, love it. The tutor's really nice, really funny. The other students, really, really good. I was a bit nervous, you know, thinking like, oh, what if I don't fit in? It literally transports you back into being that girl starting school again. You know, you're 15 years old and have I got everything? Do I have a pen? But that's just nerves for you. One of my favourite moments of the course, however, and my mum is never going to believe this, was when at the very end of the class, he said, right, I'm going to set your homework now. For years, just installed that kind of like, ugh, horrible feeling, you know, the whole class would be like, oh no, and we were all like, yay. I guess that's the difference of when you're a mature student and you actually want to be in school rather than a teenager going, oh, not again, sir. So yeah, it was great. It's great fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And then I start my next college course. I've got 2 college courses running at the same time next week. So be prepared for more crazy Taz as a donut stories. So swiftly moving on to the title of this video, they're on the move again. So despite saying on the James Corden bus tour that we saw, where Prince Harry made a point about the fact that royals don't carry money and acted a fool inside the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air's house, they also did a FaceTime with Meghan, who was caught surprised. Of course she was. But James Corden did ask her, you know, are you going to move anymore? Oh no, we're done moving now. 18 months later, they are on the move again. So the media have released that the couple are not putting their house on the market because of who they are. And no one is allowed to view the home unless they have basically their finances checked and they have the funds secured. Now that bit I can understand. You don't want a lot of time wasters, people that just want to go around the Hollywood Hills having a quick tour. Yes, we're going to buy it, find out that they have not got a penny and they're in a rental apartment somewhere. But it was the way the statement said because of who they are. Lots of famous people sell their homes in Montecito and they're quite happy to basically put it on the general market. They want to sell the house. But as always, the couple just reek of that air of self-importance and a wee tad bit of we're very special. So the house was purchased in, I think the final sale went through June 2020. The house was purchased by a trust with the same registered address as a financial firm linked to one of Meghan's companies. I don't think this is dodgy at all. This just seems to be that Meghan is a US citizen. Harry is not. The last we heard, Harry doesn't even want a proper visa, you know, a green card. He doesn't want to become a resident, something that still seems rather bizarre if you're building your life in America. But I think that's probably got something to do with tax reasons at the moment. It was reported that the couple made a down payment of $5.2 million and then took out a mortgage for $9.5 million. So this roughly works out about $35,000 a month. Now, take into account on top of this, you have got ridiculous running costs for a property that size. They've just been hit with a water ban. I saw that on the news. California residents face serious fines if they are caught watering their gardens, and seeing as a lot of these celebrities seem to have their very own exotic jungle, that's not going to fare well with a lot of their plant life. But with the mortgage payments combined with utility bills, nannies, staff costs, you know, gardeners, security, the security apparently lived there as well. You'd have cleaners, then all the overhead sort of bills that come in. So you were talking a fair few £1,000,000 each year just for the upkeep on top of the mortgage payments. So that is an insane amount of money. Now, it's been reported quite a lot on Twitter that the property taxes are due, and the property tax alone is $140,000. They can apparently pay it in 2 instalments, but it all seems rather bizarre if they've got all these multi-million-pound contracts in place. Why they took out a mortgage? Bearing in mind that Harry's inheritance was, they keep saying it's about 30 million, but that was 30 million given to him over the years. You'd imagine with investments, and I'm sure the royal family know how to make make decent investments, plus interest. And then there are various other things that Harry has done that has earned him money, and he's not like he's ever had to pay bills or rent or get a mortgage up until he left the royal family. And as Harry pointed out, he doesn't carry around money because people have paid for him his whole life. So I'd imagine his actual trust fund and all of his money, you know, it probably comes to a lot more than 30 million. So why did they take out a mortgage? And there is lots of red flags here. That this is why I said in that short video last night, I went down a rabbit hole. Firstly, they bought the house off of Sergei Grushin, right? And he is a Russian oligarch. Businessman, as they call them now. And he is actually, he's been in the newspapers for let's just say a little bit, he wasn't particularly nice to his ex-partner. Also, more famously, he actually admits, and it seems like he brags about the fact that he committed one of the biggest banking frauds in history in Russia, orchestrating a $60 billion heist. Okay, and this isn't something that he seems ashamed of. This is very much, and he's not in prison. So it's one of those things that you think crime really does pay. But the reason why I bring that up is the red flag for me here is not the fact they bought it off a Russian, because Harry and Meghan have had, you know, favour off a Russian before. If you remember when they went to Canada, it was reported it was David Foster's friend. Well, turned out David Foster's friend, you know, Harry's new surrogate father that we've not heard from since, he's buddies with another Russian businessman called Yuri Milner. He met Harry at, believe it or not, a Google Save the World summit. Yes, where the rich and the famous drive their sports cars, arrive in helicopters and these huge super yachts that pump billions of pollution into the air and into the oceans, to talk about how the rest of us to devise these plans, taxes, things that we can do, what they can implement in the world. But it turns out it's also a networking event. Now, he is reportedly the secret owner of that property, and this all came out in the newspapers. I haven't uncovered something that wasn't already out in print. Apparently the residents of Saanich already know about it anyway, and it's kind of like one of those, it's a secret but not a secret. So again, Harry and Meghan, that's two separate Russians. Now, where I think it gets a little bit dodgy is the fact that 3 years prior to Harry and Meghan reportedly purchasing this house, he was selling that house for $34 million. And they bought it for, what, 16 million? That's one hell of a discount, don't you think? Now, I did read on various blogs, but I've got nothing to really back it up. I read on Skippy, and a few other people have posted, and they seem to think that what they've done is it's a deal that you can do where they pay the down payment on the house and they've got the mortgage. They have to clear the mortgage, and then the deed of the house is then handed over to them. If they don't keep up with the mortgage payments, they default, they've got to move out, he'll get someone else in. I read it's something to do with people that are struggling to sell their houses. It's kind of like an in-between thing that you can do. So massively discounted. He obviously wanted to shift it. But, and again, I say but about this house, it's the fact that they bought a house that needed, it was so dated. It was very 90s. You know, they've gone for that Italian theme. And then when you look at recently, it was previously owned by Rob Lowe, and then someone bought it off of him in 2005. It's the Owenshire property, which is in Montecito. I'll show you some photographs here. You think that they'd buy something like this? This looks very Meghan, doesn't it? This is where I think the maths is not mathing. And if I'm completely honest with you guys, I have thrown this out there before. I don't think they live there. I really don't. Yes, okay, we've seen Meghan and Harry sitting on that couch with the pictures that Oprah gave them behind them. We've also seen Meghan sitting at the desk and the fireplace. That does belong to that house, okay? So it's had a good tidy up, it's had a bit of a whitewash, but it seems to be they're the only two rooms that the couple have really used. And the fact that this house was available for $700 an hour rental prior to their purchase. You could literally hire this entire house out for $700 an hour, a minimum booking of 10 hours. Now, where I really question that they're not in this property and they've used it as a studio is because this couple are privacy obsessed. They went to the Canada house, which was in the middle of nowhere, and they got fences erected around the property. They went to Tyler Perry's house. What did they do? They got fences, privacy fences, erected around the property, to the point the neighbours reportedly complained. Tyler Perry never felt the need to do that. The people that owned that house in Canada previously didn't need to do that. All the rich and famous people, they live in these exclusive places and keep themselves quiet and under the radar, so they don't have to do stuff like that. But big security fences draw attention, as does playing all of the silly games with the media. Pap strolls, getting friends to leak that they've been on walks in the middle of nowhere, giving away where they are, and then they put up privacy fences. So, with that in mind, why would a privacy and security obsessed couple buy a house that every single room in that house is available on the internet? You can look it up, you can see every single window, every single entrance point, the driveway, aerial views, floor plans, it's all over the internet. You can access the address, where to get in. It is literally like a burglar's or a stalker's dream. That to me makes my gut know that I'm right. They don't live there. Why on earth would they move to a property with that much exposure? It doesn't make sense. Now, however, would they have done a deal where they could use it as a studio? Maybe they rent it and they pay in a large sum of money so the property isn't sitting there empty. So the Russian guy's happy and Meghan and Harry can brag that they've got this massive, huge property, but maybe they are in a different area, which would make a lot more sense. The fact that everyone knows where they are as well, don't you think that they would have paparazzi everywhere? Even foreign paparazzi, they're not under the same kind of rules as the US magazines would be out there trying to get a shot of them. You only see Harry and Meghan when they want to be seen, and that makes me think that that house is smoke and mirrors. So the fact that they're saying that they're moving, maybe that means that they are actually going to go, like I've said in a previous video, maybe they are getting ready to up sticks and go to New York or pick a different state. It's not working out for them in Montecito, that's for sure. They're not getting the coverage that they wanted. And it's not been exactly quiet that the neighbours are moving out. The fact that Montecito was once a very quiet neighbourhood. Basically, it went to hell once the ex-royals moved in. So all these neighbours started selling their houses because they had helicopters coming over. They had paparazzi desperate to catch them because Harry and Meghan were telling everyone that they were at that particular property. So again, anyone that lives on that road is probably like, they don't live here, but now I have had my privacy completely invaded. So obviously now we are into 2022 and, well, we didn't even get a New Year's Eve Spotify from the couple. And this is definitely screaming to me that all is not well in the couple's finances. In December 2020, they did a 37-minute podcast, and it worked out that was like £460,000 per minute Spotify paid them. Spotify reportedly paid them a total of 18 million. Now that is a lot of money for no content whatsoever. Now, Netflix is slightly different because Netflix, they might give you a, potentially, I guess, a holding fee for your idea. But until you actually get something together and it's good, they like it, they're not going to give you all of the money. So whilst they were talking about they've got this big multi-million-pound contracts, I don't believe, apart from a starter fee, I guess, whatever you call it, that they would have had that massive lump sum. And they haven't produced anything. They've bragged about they've got all these people signing up to Archwell Audio, Archwell Productions. We've had all the blurb, but nothing has come to light. Now, we've heard that Harry is going to use, and I will say use, the Invictus Games for a documentary. And Meghan, we heard, is doing Pearl, the animated cartoon that she devised up with David Furnish, Elton John's husband. But as the newspapers uncovered, Meghan has been trying to plug that since 2018. Yes, the year she got married to Harry. So Meghan wanted the Oprah interview in 2018, the moment she married Harry and got that Duchess title. She then started plugging Netflix, the Duchess title. She had the Finding Freedom. Harry, it turns out, has been planning his biography since, well, they became Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Harry also got the Me You Can't See on the go. He got that off the ground, the Big Apple documentary with Oprah. Admittedly, it said that he had fibbed to the Queen and said it was going to be about veterans, and it turned out it was just about Harry. Anyone would think that the couple got married to, make money, that they used a multi-million-pound taxpayer-funded wedding for a business networking event. But of course, that wasn't their real wedding because they got married 3 days before, which no one knew about. In addition to Netflix and Spotify, we had the fact that they were signed up to being impact officers, sustainable investment bankers, misinformation commissioners. But given the huge mansion that they live in, how they choose to travel, the lies that they told on Oprah, the pain that they caused the Queen while Philip was dying, they've kind of made all of those roles ridiculous. and completely hypocritical. How can any company have them signed up as officers of misinformation that are going to be involved in that when they actually possibly one of the biggest TV interviews or tell-alls that had so many outrageous lies in it? So I'm beginning to think that the offers are really drying up. They haven't committed to any of the contracts that we were told about, these big, huge deals. They've produced nothing for any of them, unless you count the 18 million, 37-minute Spotify podcast. Someone in Spotify is in serious trouble. And speaking of contracts, do you remember when Meghan did her elephant voiceover for Disney? And this actually involved Disney to speak up, a top executive at Disney to say, Meghan needs Disney more than Disney needs Meghan. Ouch. Now that is quite a burn, and that makes me think that they didn't really care too much for the Duchess. It makes you think that she had a bad attitude when she went and did that voiceover. Plus the fact they kicked off the original actor, I still wonder who that was, to get her to do it. So I wonder if she went in there and just behaved like a diva. So now that Harry and Meghan were completely humiliated after the fallout from Oprah, then you had the court case. Meghan might have won it on a technicality, but she got outed for lying to a judge in a UK court. Not just a judge, loads of people. And most importantly, she got outed for the fact that she was, and Harry were, very much involved with finding freedom. It seems Meghan practically wrote it herself. So that alone was going to be damaging enough for the couple's reputation. But couple that with Meghan's bullying allegations, which have again been brought up. On the BBC documentary, we had Jenny Afia, Meghan's UK lawyer. She spoke out about the fact that, Meghan has been tarred and feathered and it's not her fault, the bullying allegations. But it didn't stop there. Ms. Afia has also recently done a podcast, a BBC podcast, discussing the bullying allegations that are being thrown at Meghan, but comparing it to asking a 7-year-old child to go brush their teeth. Yes, she compared her telling her 7-year-old child to go brush her teeth, and a little girl says, "No, mummy, you're a bully." That's what she did. And she also said that the word bullying, the term bullying, is, bandied around too often, and it's so very damaging to career women. So you're basically saying that career women are okay to bully people because that's what they get accused of doing. It's damaging. Don't bully your staff. It's as simple as that. I mean, Meghan's not just being accused of being a strong woman, as they try and point it out. They've actually said that it was emotional cruelty and manipulation. Quite a few people left their jobs, and these people had worked for the royal family for some time, the majority of them, and they all hightailed it out of there. To downplay it like that, I think that's really wrong for the victims that are coming forward. I have worked in offices before, and I have seen women that have been promoted and they've changed, and they terrorise what they now deem as their underlings because they want to prove themselves to their male counterparts. And, they can strike the fear of God in you, and people are absolutely terrified. And that is bullying. It's one thing to call someone up for actually doing something wrong, but to destroy them on a daily basis, it doesn't matter who you are, that's not okay. And I think that is really damaging for her solicitor to have said something like that. So you've got the lies that they've told, you've got the fact that they've not come good on any of their contracts, that they have outed private conversations within the royal family. They have done the ultimate taboo. They wanted their privacy. They didn't want things discussed about them, but they're quite happily spilling the beans on members of their family to try and get their sob story across. So what people are going to want to work with them? Would you want to pay out for a multi-million-pound contract to them and they've not even done it? I mean, who can't fit in another podcast? The bullying allegations as well. These are predominantly against women. And Meghan is going to be cheering on for women's rights, women's equality in the workplace, and she's got all of this coming out about her. When the couple tried to show a fun side to themselves as well, Harry juggling outside with Meghan doing her 40 by 40 with Melissa McCarthy, it didn't make Harry look funny, it made Harry look embarrassing. And then we had the Ellen show, and let's be honest, I think the majority of us think that Ellen did a mean girl on Meghan for not inviting her to the wedding and not giving her the first interview, because Ellen seems to really enjoy that just a little bit too much. And Meghan came across just cringe, just unbelievable. So she's not even behaving like a royal. There's a lot of A-list actresses that would have refused to do some of those things. It was the ultimate humiliation. They've also disconnected so much from the royal family now by completely attacking them on multiple occasions. They've accused them of so many different things. They have turned people against the royal family. So they've completely trashed the entire establishment, but they still want to be known as part of it and treated as though they're part of it. So is it any wonder that the Obamas didn't invite them to the birthday weekend, that Oprah didn't invite them to any of her parties? Most recently, Gayle King had a christening for her grandson at Oprah's house. Meghan and Harry weren't there. You think that would be the perfect time, you know, baby Lily would have been about the same age. No invites for them. They are apparently off Oprah's favourable list, mainly because of the embarrassment that the fallout from that interview actually caused Oprah. Now, yes, Oprah made a lot of money for it, but she also got a lot of stick for it because she should have asked basic questions. So it does seem rather quickly that they have definitely become less desirable party additions. Also in the media, we've had reports that Harry and Meghan are toying with the idea of not going to the Oscars. The reason they have given is because of Harry doesn't want to bump into Kristen Stewart, who played Diana in the film Spencer. She's apparently been given the nod that she might get an Oscar for the role. But Harry seems to have no problem with taking paychecks from Netflix that have Diana the musical and The Crown on there. But I guess because he didn't get royalties from Spencer, he's not so interested. Kristen Stewart, at the end of the day, is an actress. She's playing a part, so he wants to avoid her. What he hates her because she played his mother. She isn't exactly the first actress to play being Diana. He had no problem with that one. In all honesty, my little spidey senses are telling me that it's a cover-up, that they haven't been invited. They like to throw these things out there going, oh, well, they're not sure if they're going to attend. It's a cover-up in place. Now, obviously, they will be at Elton John's famous Oscars party. I can't see Elton John not inviting them. But Blind Gossip have done an interesting one where they've said that Meghan is making the demands that she's only going to go to the Oscars if she can hand out an award. Doesn't that just reek of the same level of arrogance and self-importance that this couple's always seem to have about them? It's get off your high horses a little bit. Obviously, I don't know how true that is, but it does seem like that would be very much in character with the Meghan that we've come to know. So it would seem the once two shiny new pennies being lapped up by the US media and all of the contracts that were coming their way, bundles of money, has lost their shine quicker than what they did in the UK. But we did technically give the US a heads up. So where do you think the couple are going to go? Reports are saying that they want to stay in the neighbourhood of Montecito. Perhaps they've got to downsize. Or do you think they might actually turn up in New York like some of us have previously predicted? Anyway, in the next video, guys, I'm going to look more into the finances. There seems to be a lot of murky stuff going on in that. Where's the funds gone from there? Why have they used charity donations to Travelist? What's happened to Travelist? Have they even registered Archwell yet? So I'm going to get through all of this over the weekend. I've also got to do my homework for my college course. Yay! And I will be back with you guys as soon as possible. See, I'm learning. Learning. Don't jinx it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye.
If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe. Please, angry typist, you will be blocked, so save your fingers the time. If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.